Fabric tears, buttons scatter across polished linoleum. A 17-year-old girl named Wren Collins stumbles backward against cold metal lockers. Her white cotton shirt hangs in tatters from Drake Ashford's leather-gloved fist. His motorcycle boots plant wide, as his gang of 5 circles like wolves. "Oops," Drake drawls, his voice carrying the lazy confidence of someone who has never faced consequences. The silver chain hanging from his black jeans catches fluorescent light. His dark hair falls across eyes that hold no remorse. Clumsy me. Wren's arms cross over her exposed bra. Her cheeks burn crimson as students slow their morning rush to stare. Some pull out phones, others pretend not to see. Most just hurry past with downcast eyes. The hallway fills with whispers and nervous laughter. Something metallic hits the floor with a sharp clink. Drake's smirk falters. His gang stops laughing. Every student within 20 feet goes silent. A military identification card lies between them, scratched steel catching harsh light. Official government seal visible even from a distance. The name etched in block letters reads, Major Collins, KIA, Afghanistan, 2019. Before we dive deeper into this story, I want to thank everyone watching from everywhere. If this story has meaning for you, please like to help it reach people who might need to hear this. And don't forget to comment and let us know. Where are you watching from? It's wonderful to see these stories spread to so many places. Whether you came here for the excitement, emotions, or any other reason, we really appreciate you joining us on this journey. Wren drops to her knees. Her fingers close around the ID card like it contains her father's soul. The metal feels warm against her palm, warm from resting against her heart every day for the past 4 years. Warm with memories of strong hands teaching small fingers how to defend herself. Remember, little bird, her father's voice echoes across time. Strength isn't about size or volume. It's about knowing when to be still and when to strike. The flashback hits hard, a 10-year-old girl practicing basic defensive moves in their garage. A uniformed man with gentle eyes and calloused hands guiding her through proper stance and breathing. Most people telegraph their intentions. Wren, watch their shoulders, not their eyes. And never let anyone corner you without an exit strategy. Well, Drake steps closer, his voice dropping to mock sympathy. Little Mouse has a dead hero, Daddy. He crouches down, bringing his face level with hers. Too bad he didn't pass along any of that backbone before he got himself blown up. The words hit like physical blows. Wren's grip tightens on the ID card until her knuckles turn white. She stands slowly, brushing dust from her knees. Her torn shirt gaps open. But something in her posture has shifted. Her spine straightens, her chin lifts. Her eyes, still brimming with tears, hold a spark that wasn't there before. My father, she says quietly, taught me that some battles aren't worth fighting. Her voice grows steadier with each word. And others are worth everything. Drake's laugh comes out forced. His gang shuffles uncomfortably behind him. The hallway has emptied except for a few stragglers pretending to organize their lockers while secretly recording everything on their phones. Big words from someone who can't even... The first bell rings. Its shrill tone cuts through tension like a blade. Students flood the hallway again, rushing to homeroom. Conversations resume at normal volume. Drake straightens and adjusts his leather jacket. This isn't over. Hero, girl. He turns to leave, then pauses. Nice bra, by the way. Victoria's Secret. Daddy's military pension paying for the good stuff. His gang follows him down the hallway. Their laughter fades around the corner. Ren stands alone among scattered buttons and whispered speculation. Her cheeks burn with shame, but her eyes burn with something else entirely. Principal Knox Blackstone's office smells like old coffee and broken promises. The man himself, 50-something, with thinning hair and a tie that costs more than most teachers' weekly salary, barely looks up from his computer screen when Ren enters. "Ms. Collins?" His fingers continue typing. "I understand there was some sort of incident in the hallway this morning. Drake Ashford and his friends surrounded me." Ren pulls her cardigan tighter around her damaged shirt. "He deliberately tore my clothing in front of other students. It was assault and public humiliation." "Those are serious accusations." Principal Blackstone finally looks at her, his expression carefully neutral. "Do you have any proof of these allegations?" "There were dozens of witnesses. I'm sure the security cameras captured everything." Something flickers across his face, too quick to interpret, but Ren notices anyway. Her father taught her to watch for micro-expressions. The brief tightening around Blackstone's eyes. The way his hand moves unconsciously toward his desk drawer. "Let me check the footage from that area." He turns to his computer, clicks through several screens. His fingers tap against the desk. Once, twice, 3 times. "I'm afraid the camera system experienced some technical difficulties this morning. The footage from hallway C between 7:45 and 8:15 appears to be corrupted." The lie hits her like cold water. Ren's eyes drift to his desk. Among the usual clutter of papers and coffee mugs sits a framed photograph, Principal Blackstone shaking hands with a distinguished man in an expensive suit. The man has steel-gray hair, predatory eyes, and a jaw that could have been carved from granite, the same jaw she saw on Drake Ashford. "Technical difficulties," she repeats slowly. "Unfortunately, yes." Blackstone closes the computer screen. "Without video evidence or reliable witnesses, there's really nothing I can do. These situations often come down to he said, she said, and Drake has never been in serious trouble before. Never been in serious trouble, or never been held accountable. The distinction matters. Ren files it away for later consideration." "I see." She stands, smoothing down her cardigan. "Thank you for your time, Principal Blackstone." "Of course. And Ms. Collins." He waits until she turns back. "Millbrook High has a strict policy against making false accusations against other students. I trust you'll keep that in mind going forward." The threat wrapped in administrative language couldn't be clearer. Ren nods once and walks out, her mind already racing through the implications of what just happened. Arlington National Cemetery feels like sacred ground even on a Tuesday afternoon. Ren kneels beside her father's headstone. Her fingers trace the engraved letters as afternoon sunlight filters through ancient oak trees. The Marine Corps emblem carved into white marble catches the light. Below it, simple words. Major James Collins, devoted father. Served with honor. "I miss you, Dad." Her voice barely rises above a whisper. "I could really use some of that tactical advice right about now." "He always said you had his eyes." Ren spins around, her heart hammering against her ribs. A woman approaches through the cemetery, mid-40s, short gray hair, wearing jeans and a navy pea coat. Her stride has the purposeful efficiency of someone accustomed to command. Her posture screams military, even in civilian clothes. "Easy, kid." The woman raises both hands, palms out. "Sergeant L. Hamilton, retired. Your father and I served 2 tours together in Afghanistan." Recognition dawns slowly. Ren remembers this face from old photographs her father kept in his study. Elle Hamilton, the woman who pulled him out of a burning Humvee in Kandahar. The soldier who spoke at his memorial service when Wren was too grief-stricken to remember faces or names. "How did you know you'd be here? Your neighbor Mrs. Patterson mentioned you visit every Tuesday after school." Elle settles onto the bench beside the headstone. "I've been meaning to check on you for months. Today seemed like the right time." Today, Elle's eyes focus on the small tears in Wren's cardigan, the way she keeps tugging her sleeves down to cover her wrists. Rough day at school. The concern in her voice, genuine and unforced, breaks something loose in Wren's chest. Before she can stop herself, the whole story spills out Drake's attack. The torn shirt, Principal Blackstone's convenient blindness, the mysteriously corrupted security footage. And the worst part, Wren finishes, is that nobody will believe me. Drake's popular. His family has money. And I'm just the weird, quiet girl whose dad died overseas. Elle listens without interrupting. Her expression grows darker with each detail. When Wren mentions Drake's last name, something cold and dangerous flickers across the former sergeant's features. "Ashford?" Elle's voice turns flat. "Drake Ashford. You know him." "I know his father." Elle stands and begins pacing between headstones. "Judge Wade Ashford used to be a defense attorney before his appointment to the bench 3 years ago. Used to defend drug dealers, mostly, had a reputation for getting guilty clients off on technicalities." Elle stops pacing and looks directly at Wren. "Your father was investigating a corruption network when he died. Defense attorneys taking money to deliberately sabotage their clients' cases, feeding information to rival drug cartels." The words hit like physical blows. Wren feels the world tilt sideways. Her father died fighting corruption. And now she's facing the son of someone who might have been part of that same network. "Are you saying—" "I'm saying your father kept detailed files on everyone he suspected." Elle pulls a manila envelope from her coat, including Wade Ashford. Inside the envelope, photographs, financial records, transcripts of phone conversations. Wren's hands shake as she sorts through evidence of bribes, intimidation, and systematic corruption stretching back nearly a decade. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because your father asked me to watch out for you if anything happened to him." Elle's voice softens. "And because I think you're stronger than you know." The attack comes 3 days later. Wren exits the school library at 4:30. The hallways are mostly empty except for a few students staying late for clubs or detention. Her backpack is heavy with research. She's been digging into every public record she can find about the Ashford family, building her own investigation into the connections her father discovered. Drake and his gang emerge from the stairwell like predators who have been lying in wait. "Well, if it isn't Nancy Drew," Drake's voice echoes off empty lockers. "Heard you've been asking questions about my family." This time there are no witnesses, no teachers patrolling nearby, no security cameras with convenient malfunctions. Just Wren, 5 teenage bullies, and an empty corridor that stretches toward the main exit like a mile-long gauntlet. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sure you don't," Drake signals to his friends. They spread out in a practiced formation that cuts off her escape routes. "My dad got an interesting phone call yesterday. Seems someone's been requesting public records related to his legal career." Too fast, Wren realizes. "I moved too fast, asked too many questions. Public records are public for a reason." "Maybe, but some stones are better left unturned." Drake steps closer, his leather jacket creaking with each movement, especially by little girls who don't understand how the world really works. He reaches for her backpack, His fingers brush against her shoulder. Muscle memory takes over. Her father's training kicks in like a switch being flipped. Ren pivots left. Her right elbow drives upward into Drake's solar plexus with surgical precision. He doubles over. Gasping, she spins away from his grasping hands and drops into a defensive crouch, her father drilled into her 1,000 times. What the hell? One of Drake's friends lunges forward. Ren's left foot sweeps his ankle. He crashes into the lockers with a metallic bang that echoes through the empty hallway. Another gang member rushes her from behind. She sidesteps at the last second and uses his momentum to send him sprawling across the polished floor. The remaining two freeze, their eyes wide with shock and confusion. This isn't the scared little mouse they expected to corner. This is someone who moves like she's been training for combat since childhood. Drake straightens slowly, his face red with pain and humiliation. "You're going to regret that." "My father taught me something important," Ren says, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "He said the real strength isn't about never falling down, it's about always getting back up." She adjusts her backpack and walks toward the exit, her steps measured and controlled. Behind her, she hears whispered curses and threats, but nobody follows. The game has changed. They all know it. Act 3. Escalation and System Reveal. May Miller's law office occupies the 3rd floor of a converted Victorian house downtown. Legal books line every wall, and case files stack in careful towers across her mahogany desk. The attorney herself, early 50s, with silver-streaked hair, and the bearing of someone who has fought plenty of courtroom battles, reviews Elle's evidence with the careful attention of a bomb disposal expert. "This is extensive," May says finally. "Your father was building a federal case." Ren sits between May and Elle, her hands folded in her lap as she tries to process the scope of what they're discussing. The corruption network reaches further than she imagined. Judges, attorneys, police officials, even some school administrators. Principal Blackstone, Wade Ashford's fraternity brother from college. May slides a photograph across the desk. Knox Blackstone has received over $200,000 in donations from various Ashford-connected entities over the past 3 years. The photograph shows a younger Blackstone and Ashford at some sort of formal event. They're wearing matching fraternity pins and holding champagne glasses. Both men look drunk and privileged. The kind of people who believe rules apply to everyone except themselves. "So when Drake attacked me, Blackstone was never going to help you." Elo's voice carries years of cynical experience. "The fix was in before you ever walked into his office." May opens another file folder. This one contains financial records and communications that paint an even darker picture. The Ashford network doesn't just protect wealthy kids from consequences, it actively targets anyone who threatens their system. "They've done this before," May explains. "Student gets too close to the truth, starts asking uncomfortable questions. Suddenly, their grades slip. Their college applications get lost. Their parents face tax audits or professional sanctions. They can do that. When you control enough of the system, you can do almost anything." May's expression hardens. "The question is, what are you willing to risk to stop them?" Before Ren can answer, her phone buzzes with a text message, then another, then a flood of notifications that make her stomach drop. Someone has created fake social media accounts using her name. The posts are vulgar, inappropriate, designed to destroy her reputation. Photoshopped images show her in compromising positions. Fabricated screenshots suggest she's been selling drugs and cheating on tests. "It's starting," Elle says grimly. May nods toward the window. Across the street, a black sedan with tinted windows sits parked in a loading zone. The same car that was outside Ren's house this morning. The same one that followed her to the cemetery yesterday. They're not just coming after your reputation, May warns. They're coming after everything. Ren's phone buzzes again. This time it's a call from her best friend Sarah. She answers hopefully. Maybe Sarah will be the one person who doesn't believe the lies. Ren, Sarah's voice sounds strained, frightened. My mom says I can't hang out with you anymore. She got a call from someone about the stuff you've been posting online. Sarah, those posts aren't real. I know you wouldn't write things like that. Sarah's voice drops to a whisper. But my mom says your family is in some kind of legal trouble. And we can't afford to get involved. I'm sorry. Ren, I really am. The line goes dead. Ren stares at her phone as the full scope of her isolation becomes clear. Her friends are abandoning her. Her school administration is compromised. Even her teachers will soon hear rumors that poison their perception of her character. Sometimes being silent isn't about weakness, Ren says quietly, remembering her father's lessons. It's about watching and preparing. She looks up at May and Elle, her decision crystallizing like steel cooling in a forge. What do we need to do? The federal courthouse feels like a fortress designed to intimidate. Its granite columns and marble floors echo with the footsteps of people seeking justice in a system that has been corrupted from within. Ren sits beside May Miller in the gallery, watching Judge Wade Ashford preside over a routine hearing with the casual authority of someone who believes himself untouchable. He looks exactly like Drake, the same predatory eyes, the same arrogant jawline, the same sense that rules exist for other people. But where Drake relies on physical intimidation, his father wields the law itself as a weapon. Motion denied, Judge Ashford announces, barely glancing at the defense attorney. The defendant's request for bail reduction is frivolous and without merit. May leans close to Ren's ear. Watch his patterns. He's harder on defense attorneys who won't play ball, easier on prosecutors who feed him information. The corruption is subtle but systematic. Ashford's rulings consistently favor a network of connected lawyers and officials. Public defenders get their motions dismissed. Private attorneys with the right connections see their clients receive reduced sentences. How long has this been going on? Years. Your father documented over 300 suspicious rulings. May opens her tablet, showing spreadsheets that track patterns of judicial bias. Wade Ashford isn't just corrupt, he's running a protection racket from the bench. After the hearing, they follow Ashford through the courthouse corridors. He moves with the confident stride of someone who owns the building. In the elevator, Ren overhears him talking to another judge about problematic elements that need to be managed appropriately. The conversation stops when he notices Ren watching him. Do I know you? Young lady. I don't think so. Your Honor. Ren keeps her voice steady and respectful. I'm just here observing the legal system for a school project. Something flickers in his eyes. Recognition, perhaps, or suspicion. His gaze lingers on her face for several heartbeats before the elevator doors open and he exits without another word. But Ren catches the brief phone call he makes as soon as the doors close. We may have a problem. Drake's transformation over the following week is dramatic and terrifying. The cocky bully disappears. In his place emerges someone desperate and dangerous. His gang notices the change where he once led with swagger and intimidation. He now leads with barely controlled rage. The attacks escalate beyond social media manipulation. Ren's locker is vandalized with threats painted in red paint. Her mother's car tires are slashed. Their home internet is hacked, flooding their devices with viruses and malware. But the worst comes during her AP history class. Mr. Rodriguez is discussing the importance of whistleblowers in American democracy when the classroom door opens. Drake enters with a hall pass, his eyes immediately finding Ren in the third row. "Sorry to interrupt," he says to the teacher, his voice perfectly polite. "I need to speak with Ren about a student council matter." Mr. Rodriguez nods absently. He's one of the teachers who hasn't heard the rumors yet, hasn't been poisoned against her. Ren follows Drake into the hallway, every instinct screaming danger. "I know what you're doing," he says once they're alone. His voice shakes with barely contained fury. His hands clench and unclench at his sides. "I know about the meetings with lawyers, the digging into my family's business. I don't know what—" "Don't!" Drake slams his fist against the lockers, the sound echoing through the empty corridor. "My father told me everything about your dead hero daddy and his investigation into people who were just trying to make a living." The mask has slipped completely. This isn't the smooth-talking bully from 2 weeks ago. This is someone who has discovered that his entire life is built on criminal foundations and has chosen to defend those foundations rather than face the truth. "Your father was a criminal," Ren says quietly. "He took money to destroy innocent people's lives. He provided for his family." Drake's voice rises to just below a shout. "He worked within a broken system to give us a good life. Your father was a naive idealist who got himself killed meddling in things that didn't concern him." Got himself killed. The phrase hits Ren like ice water. There's something in the way Drake says it, too much knowledge, too much certainty. "What do you know about my father's death?" Drake realizes his mistake immediately. His eyes widen, and he takes a step backward. But it's too late. The slip has revealed more than he intended. "Nothing. You just meant that you know something about how a decorated Marine died in Afghanistan." Ren moves closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Something your father told you," before Drake can respond. The fire alarm begins blaring throughout the school. Students pour into the hallways from every classroom. Teachers shout instructions about evacuation procedures. Chaos erupts as hundreds of teenagers follow emergency protocols. In the confusion, Drake disappears into the crowd, but his words echo in Ren's mind. Got himself killed, meddling in things that didn't concern him. As if Major Collins's death wasn't an accident or enemy action, as if it was murder. Kai Mitchell approaches Ren during the fire drill evacuation. His timing feels deliberate rather than coincidental. The quiet transfer student who enrolled 3 weeks ago has kept to himself, no friends, no social media presence, no apparent interest in typical teenage activities. "We need to talk," he says simply. They stand apart from the other students on the football field. Teachers are distracted with head counts and evacuation procedures. Kai pulls out his phone and shows Ren a photograph, a military unit posed in front of a Humvee, desert camouflage and serious expressions. "Front row, third from left," Kai says. Ren's breath catches. Her father stands among the soldiers, younger but unmistakable. Beside him, a man with Kai's eyes and jawline wears sergeant's stripes. "Staff Sergeant David Mitchell," Kai continues. "He served with your father in Afghanistan. He's also my dad." Was. He died 6 months after your father, officially from PTSD-related suicide. Kai's voice stays carefully neutral, but his hands shake slightly. Unofficially, he'd been asking too many questions about Major Collins's death. The pieces click together with horrifying clarity. Two veterans die within months of each other. Both were investigating the same corruption network. Both deaths are explained away with convenient official narratives. How many others? At least 4 that we can identify. Kai shows her more photographs faces of soldiers who asked inconvenient questions and met convenient deaths. The network doesn't just operate in civilian courts. They have connections throughout the military justice system. Why are you telling me this? Because they killed my father, and I want them to pay. Kai's mask of teenage indifference slips, revealing years of carefully controlled rage. And because you're not the only one who inherited more than just memories. He pulls back his sleeve, underneath. Ren sees the edge of a military tattoo, not his own, but transferred from his father's personal effects. A reminder of service and sacrifice. A promise to continue the fight. What do you propose? We finish what our fathers started. Kai looks toward the school building, where teachers are beginning to organize the return to classes. But we do it smart. We do it right. And we make sure the whole system comes down. The breakthrough comes from an unexpected source, Drake himself, in his desperate attempt to destroy evidence of his family's crimes. He makes a crucial mistake, breaking into May Miller's law office after hours. He triggers a silent alarm system installed by Elle Hamilton, a woman who learned about security during 2 tours in a war zone. The hidden cameras capture everything Drake's searching through files, photographing documents, and most damning of all, making phone calls to coordinate the destruction of evidence. "Dad, I found the files," he says into his phone, unaware that every word is being recorded. The stuff about Afghanistan, about Collins and the others. We need to move fast before the others. Plural. Confirmation that Major Collins wasn't the only victim. But Drake's biggest mistake comes when he finds the file marked Operation Nightfall documents that Ren's father had hidden even from his closest allies. As Drake photographs the pages, he reveals the true scope of the conspiracy. Operation Nightfall wasn't just about corruption in Afghanistan. It was about establishing a network of compromised officials throughout the American justice system. Judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, police chiefs, all connected by shared crimes and mutual blackmail. "This is bigger than we thought," Elle says, as they review the footage the next morning. "Your father wasn't just investigating individual cases. He'd uncovered a systematic takeover of the legal system." May nods grimly, and they killed him for it. The final piece of evidence is hidden in the last place anyone would look: Ren's military ID card. The chip embedded in the metal contains her father's complete files insurance against his own death, activated by a code that only she would know. Her birthday, October 15th, 2005. When Ren enters the code, the chip releases terabytes of data, financial records, recorded conversations, photographic evidence of meetings between American officials and foreign criminal organizations. Her father had spent months building an airtight case that would have brought down dozens of corrupt officials. He knew they were going to kill him, Ren realizes, her voice barely above a whisper. He prepared for it, Elle corrects. He made sure the truth would survive, even if he didn't. But as they prepare to release the evidence, Judge Ashford makes his own desperate move, using his connections throughout the system. He orchestrates a legal trap designed to destroy Ren's credibility before she can testify. Ren is arrested at school on fabricated charges of drug possession and cyber terrorism. The evidence has been planted in her locker and on her computer. The arrest is public and humiliating: handcuffs in the hallway. Perp walk past her classmates, mugshots that will follow her forever. Sometimes being silent isn't about weakness. It's about watching and preparing. She tells herself as they process her into the juvenile detention system. But the arrest is also Ashford's fatal mistake. In his eagerness to silence Wren, he reveals the extent of his network's reach and provides May Miller with grounds for a federal civil rights lawsuit. The FBI raids begin at dawn the next day. The final confrontation doesn't happen in a courtroom or police station. It happens on the roof of Millbrook High School, where Drake has cornered Wren after her release on bail. He's changed. The cocky teenager is gone, replaced by someone who has lost everything and has nothing left to lose. His father is in federal custody. His family's assets are frozen. His entire world has collapsed around him. "You destroyed everything," he says, his voice raw with grief and rage. "My family, my future, my life all gone because you couldn't leave the past alone." "Your family destroyed themselves," Wren replies, maintaining distance between them. The roof is 5 stories above the parking lot. One wrong move could be fatal for either of them. "I just revealed the truth." "The truth?" Drake laughs bitterly. "You want to know the truth? Your father was supposed to die in a car accident. Quick, clean, no questions asked. But he was too paranoid, too careful, so they had to get creative." The confession hits Wren like a physical blow. Her father's death wasn't even the quick, honorable combat death she'd always believed. It was an assassination disguised as enemy action. "They made it look like an IED attack," Drake continues, too far gone to stop talking. "Hired local insurgents to plant the device, then eliminated them afterward. Your hero daddy died for nothing, and nobody ever suspected." "Justice isn't about revenge," Wren says, her father's voice echoing in her memory. "It's about making sure the innocent are protected, and the guilty face consequences." But Drake isn't listening anymore. He pulls a knife from his jacket, a military-style blade that catches the afternoon sunlight. This isn't a school bully anymore. This is someone who has decided that if he can't have his life back, nobody gets to have theirs. The fight is brief and brutal. Drake has size and rage. Wren has training and discipline. When he lunges with the knife, she sidesteps and uses his momentum against him, a technique her father taught her when she was 12 years old. Drake stumbles. His foot catches on the roof's edge. Gravity takes over. He falls 4 stories onto concrete. The sound echoes across the empty school parking lot like a gunshot. 6 months later, Wren stands before her father's grave, wearing her high school graduation cap and gown. The ceremonies ended an hour ago. She's valedictorian of a class that will always remember her as the girl who brought down a criminal empire. The trials are over. Judge Wade Ashford received 25 years in federal prison. Principal Knox Blackstone was removed from his position and faces his own criminal charges. Dozens of other officials are serving time or awaiting sentencing. But the victory feels hollow. Drake Ashford died from his injuries 3 days after the fall, officially. It was ruled an accident during a struggle, unofficially. Wren knows she's responsible for the death of someone who might have been saved if circumstances had been different. The greatest strength isn't about winning every battle. She tells her father's headstone, it's about knowing which battles are worth the cost. Elle Hamilton approaches through the cemetery. She moves more slowly than she used to, the stress of the past months having aged her visibly. The media attention, the federal investigation, the constant threats from Ashford's remaining allies, it has taken a toll on everyone involved. "How are you holding up?" "I'm alive. My father's killers are in prison." The corruption network is destroyed. Ren adjusts the flowers on his grave. I should feel victorious. But you don't. I feel tired. Ren's voice carries the weight of someone who has grown up too fast, seen too much. I feel like I'm 40 years old instead of 18. That's the real cost of her victory, not just Drake's death, but her own lost innocence. She can never again be the quiet, trusting girl who believed that authority figures were inherently good, that justice was guaranteed, that doing the right thing didn't require impossible choices. Your father would be proud, Elle says. Would he? I became everything he tried to teach me, not to be vengeful, suspicious, willing to use violence. Ren touches the military ID card hanging around her neck. I won, but I'm not sure I'm still the daughter he wanted me to be. You're the daughter he prepared you to be. Elu's voice softens. He knew this day might come. He trained you not just to fight, but to survive what comes after fighting. As they walk toward the cemetery entrance, Elo's phone buzzes with a text message. Her expression darkens as she reads it. What is it? May Miller. She's been reviewing the files we recovered from Operation Nightfall. Elle shows Ren the message. Found something. You need to see this. Not safe to discuss over phone. I thought we got them all. So did I. Elle looks around the cemetery, suddenly alert to potential threats. But your father's investigation went deeper than we realized. Operation Nightfall wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. A black sedan with government plates pulls up to the cemetery entrance. Two men in dark suits exit and walk toward them with the purposeful stride of federal agents. But something about their approach feels wrong, too aggressive, too coordinated. Ms. Collins, one of them calls out, we need to speak with you about some irregularities in your recent testimony. Ren's hand instinctively moves to her father's ID card. The chip has been wiped. Its secrets uploaded to federal databases months ago. But her father was paranoid enough to hide backup files' insurance policies scattered across multiple locations. Files that someone else now wants to retrieve. Run, Elle whispers. The men are 50 yards away and closing fast. Their suits bulge slightly under the arms concealed weapons that real federal agents wouldn't need for a simple interview. Behind them, more vehicles appear at the cemetery's other entrances. Ren's father taught her many things. Among them was how to recognize when a tactical situation had turned lethal. These men aren't here to ask questions. They're here to eliminate a witness who knows too much about secrets that go far beyond Judge Wade Ashford's local corruption network. Justice isn't always about courts and lawyers, Ren says, quoting her father's final lesson. Sometimes it's about survival and making sure the truth outlives the people trying to bury it. They run between the headstones toward the cemetery's back fence. Behind them, the fake federal agents abandon any pretense and break into pursuit. Whatever Operation Nightfall really was, whoever was really behind it, they've decided that Ren Collins knows too much to be allowed to live. But as they reach the fence, Ren sees something that makes her smile despite the danger. Kai Mitchell waiting with a motorcycle, engine running, wearing the same expression of controlled determination that she's seen in old photographs of his father. Ready for round two? He calls out. Ren vaults onto the bike behind him. As they accelerate into traffic, she catches a glimpse of their pursuers scrambling to follow. The corruption network was larger than they realized. Defeating Judge Ashford was just the first battle in a war that will define the rest of her life. But she's no longer the frightened girl who had her shirt torn in a high school hallway. She's her father's daughter, trained for this fight. ready for whatever comes next. The real battle for justice is just beginning. Ren vaults onto the bike behind him as they accelerate into traffic. She catches a glimpse of their pursuers scrambling to follow. The corruption network was larger than they realized. Defeating Judge Ashford was just the first battle in a war that will define the rest of her life. But she's no longer the frightened girl who had her shirt torn in a high school hallway. She's her father's daughter, trained for this fight, ready for whatever comes next. The real battle for justice is just beginning. As Kai weaves through downtown traffic, Ren's phone buzzes with an encrypted message from an unknown number. Your father's final insurance policy is activated. Location coordinates 38.907 Digjan 77.0360 Come alone, trust no one in uniform, a friend. The coordinates point to the Lincoln Memorial where her father proposed to her mother 18 years ago, where he taught her that some fights are worth everything. Whatever final secret he left behind. Whoever this mysterious ally is, the answers lie waiting in the shadow of America's greatest president. Behind them, sirens wail as more vehicles join the pursuit. Ahead, the memorial's marble columns rise like ancient pillars of justice. Ren grips Kai's jacket tighter. Her father's ID card bounces against her chest with each bump in the road. The fight for truth never ends. It just finds new warriors to carry it forward.